Okay, so this module is all about perimenopause and menopause because I definitely know that this has impacted some of the clients that are coming into the program. It was important for you guys to go through the other modules anyway to really understand how the hormonal system works. And then let's have a look at trying to understand what is happening in perimenopause and menopause, and then looking at ways to start to manage your symptoms in these times naturally, rather than trying to move towards that HRT or bioidentical hormone route, because there are side effects with that. So let's dive in. So this is the time in our lives where our production of hormones starts to slow down and stop. So it can start to create some significant imbalances for people, leading to some pretty annoying symptoms. So basically, when you've run out of follicles or eggs that start to mature, we don't have that process of actually building up that estrogen levels for that ovulation to happen and that progesterone to be created, because that's all, like we said at the start, is all created from that follicle starting to mature, that ovulation happening, and then the follicle that's left behind is actually creates the progesterone. So we don't have that process going on because we've run out of eggs. Women actually have a certain number of eggs that they're born with, and once they run out, then that's it. So it's actually when I say it's a beautiful time of life, it's one of those times of life where it starts to our body is supposed to go through this. Like, our body is made to run out of eggs and to then move into a beautiful hormonal system like harmony that maintains our health for the rest of our life after that fertility stage. So it's supposed to happen, but like you saw in the previous modules, is it can actually have an impact, like our lifestyle and our diet and our lack of nutrients can actually have an impact on our hormone and their expression. So this area and perimenopause and menopause is exactly the same. We have things that we can do to actually create change and make it easier for you to manage your symptoms. So menopause is a healthy and normal part of a woman's life, shifting their bodies from cycling hormones for fertility to hormone stability for health maintenance. The pause in menses is not officially determined until a woman has not had a period for 12 months, so around the age of 51. So perimenopause, it just depends on who you are, what your genes are, what your lifestyle is like, depending on how long it takes for you to move from cycling hormones to no cycling hormones at all. So what happens with your period is you could still, as you're going through perimenopause, you could still have eggs being released. But what happens is the estrogen levels don't get up to a level where that egg can be released. So it can actually have a surge and then not quite make it. So LH isn't released, and then have a surge, and then the same thing happens. So it can take a while for that body to get you up to that point where you're actually surging for ovulation. So there is still a chance to fall pregnant in this time. But the issue is that the quality of the eggs may be less than they were before, and so contraception is actually really important still in this time. The first symptoms of perimenopause are usually seen in a change in our cycles. So cycle can become shorter, can become longer, heavier, lighter, closer together, further apart, and generally irregular. So it's just an indication that the follicular reserve of eggs is reducing. So it could be any of those things, and there's no predictable way of describing what you're going to go through, whether you're going to go through all of those symptoms or not. So just be aware, you will be aware at that stage of life where it just starts to change. Oh, turn this up. So The imbalances caused from the general lowering of estrogen and progesterone, but also the balances between estrogen and progesterone. So that has an impact as well. So symptoms obviously include night sweats, hot flushes, poor sleep, headaches, fatigue, low libido, vaginal dryness, and mood swings. So it's really important actually at this time to keep track of your symptoms, because they could be related to stress or diet changes or any of those other things, that like gut health, could be your liver. So tracking your symptoms and tracking where you are possibly in your cycle is a really good way of being able to talk to your doctor about it and get that diagnosis of perimenopause. So tracking your symptoms, including frequency, duration, and type of flow, plus all other associated signs, is important. It's a very unpredictable time, and lifestyle can play a really pivotal role in how we experience this time. The estrogen, actually, it's interesting that the estrogen that we produce during menopause has specific functions to support our cardiovascular system and our brain function. So there's a little change in the type of estrogen that is excreted or secreted. So it's an important time. It's a really important time. Okay, so managing the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause are exactly the same as managing our hormones in our reproductive years. So again, eating a whole food, plant strong diet, lots of really good quality protein, really important for bone density in this time. Reducing inflammatory foods, which is dairy, sugar, gluten, and saturated fat. Stress management plan is really important because our progesterone levels are lower, and that helps us with our mood. Really important to have a stress management in place. Reduce your toxic load, same across the board, men, women, children, reduce your toxic load. Taking a whole food supplement like we are with our doTERRA supplements is really important. So taking that to keep our reserves up. And again, getting individual support if it's an ongoing issue. So I'm going to go through some of the, more specifically, there's some areas in the ebook that you can get support with more specifically. So it just depends on what you're experiencing. So dry skin is related to usually with omegas. So if we have dry skin, then making sure that you're upping your omega-3 levels. So that includes like walnuts. Our bone broth is looking after your gut health, seeds, wild caught salmon and mackerel, and really minimizing alcohol and caffeine. And what I've seen from my experience with people in this age bracket is that it's like their life is just starting and they're enjoying socializing and going out for coffees and wine and having wine with dinner, and it can actually impact your bodies in this time. So really be mindful about the amount of caffeine and wine that you are drinking in this time. So the other things that can be really helpful is geranium essential oil. So geranium is a beautiful skin oil. So mixing that with some coconut oil and rubbing it all over your body is a really calming oil, but also amazing for your skin at this time. So getting your hands on your doTERRA geranium oil. Talk to your ambassador about how you add that to your next month order. Obviously, drink lots of water. And low toxic skincare. So really look at our module called Overhaul Your Skincare, and Selena has put in a lot of suggestions for changing up your skincare. So that's for dry skin, but really looking at the omegas because that's the integrity of the cells. If you have symptoms that are to do with low estrogen, then increasing your cruciferous vegetables. So we're really helping our hormones with our liver detoxification. Low tox your plastics to glass. So just get rid of the Tupperware. Get rid of, just please don't heat up food in any plastic, and try and maintain a healthy weight. which is why you're here. Optimizing longevity, all of the things is really important to do. Hot flashes and night sweats. Try eliminating gluten, increasing your flax seeds, using maca powder. Again, minimize alcohol and caffeine and spicy food. Pomegranate seeds can be helpful in this time. Clary sage essential oil is incredible. It's actually in our Clary Calm oil, so you can use that for perimenopause and menopause. Acupuncture can be helpful. Obviously, things like dressing in loose-fitting clothing, and peppermint essential oil can be amazing at reducing that heat that you feel during those times of hot flashes. So using peppermint oil on your chest. Moderate exercise regularity and yoga is helpful. And then we're looking at joint pain. So cherries can be really supportive, like the antioxidant and the anti-inflammatory properties of cherries is really important in your joint pain. They have like a cherry concentrate at the health food store. So you can do that. Cherries are super yum. Again, we're talking about liver, so cruciferous vegetables and leafy greens. Again, elimination of gluten. Actually, we did notice that when we reduced dairy and gluten, our joint pain and our soreness after exercise was significantly reduced. So give that a go. Wild caught salmon. So we're talking about fish oil. So your omega complex that you have with your doTERRA supplements is really important for you to have. Turmeric is helpful. Acupuncture and low impact exercise like Pilates or yoga. Low libido is another one that we that can really impact our bodies. So having avocados, reducing alcohol, eating bananas and Brazil nuts can be helpful. Also dark chocolate and figs. That sounds like a pretty good dessert, to be honest. Ashwagandha is really helpful adaptogenic herb, and it is really for relaxation and stress. So adding ashwagandha to your smoothie or taking tablets. Citrus essential oils can be helpful in uplifting the mood. Sandalwood essential oil is like quite a really passionate essential oil. So add that. Kegel exercises, so improving your pelvic floor muscles, and try and orgasm more frequently. So the more sex we have, the more we want it. So increasing that if you can, and obviously foreplay to help in those situations. Same that includes vaginal dryness as well, all of those same things. Yeah, so there's some specific things for some of those symptoms. What you're doing in this program is going to be really supportive for you in this time of your life, and I'm very grateful that you are here taking that next step to live a really long and healthy life. We tend to die for a long time. So we get really unwell for a long time, and then there's like how many tablets are the oldies taking. Let's thrive into our later years and really enjoy our child-free years and enjoy each other. So if you can support yourself in this transition period, then it's going to be really helpful for you in the long run. So I hope that has helped you. And if you have any questions about that, make sure you bring them to us at the end of the week. So that is me for hormone health, and I hope that it has been helpful. Okay.